You're welcome back. Fantastic conversations we've been having on the show. This is TVC Breakfast. Now we start where the Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite, has reaffirmed President Bola Tinubu's commitment to pension reforms, citing his personal understanding of pensioners' struggle. Now speaking in Abuja at the launch of the Reverse Service Charter for the Pension Transactional Agreement, the Directorate, the minister responded to recent protests over unpaid arrears and the 35,000 naira palliative allowance. She said ongoing reforms have brought renewed hope to workers, describing the pension system as lifetime insurance that offers long-term financial security, especially in times of economic uncertainty. Now, she praised President Tinubu's leadership in tackling pension liabilities, also revealing plans to issue a 758 billion naira bond to clear outstanding payments. Now, joining us via Zoom for this conversation is lawyer and public affairs analyst Jide Ologu. Good morning, Mr. Jide. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Blessed.
Nice to have you on the show this morning, and happy holidays. I don't know where you are, but happy holidays. Now, this is a fantastic...
I'm in the office.
Okay. Oh, you're working. Amazing. Yeah. We're here too as well. This is a fantastic conversation we're about to have, because over a period of time, we've reported it several times in the news that, you know, these pensioners are crying. You know, some of them have taken it to God to pray for them to get what they truly deserve. Because at the end of the day, they work for it and they should not beg for what they deserve. But now we're seeing the president come out to say that, you know, this will all be cleared and they'll be finally getting what they are due to get. I just want to quickly get your opinion. What do you make of this? And do you think that this is not just going to be another thing that is said and not followed through?
Thank you very much. Very brilliant question there. Let's start by highlighting what pension represents. It's a regular income, you know, received by those who have retired from active service. And then when they stop working and they get to a certain age, which means that they have rendered services, and as brilliantly described by the Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite, it's also a part of lifetime insurance and financial plan, so that you can be happy post-work and be able to support yourself. And what has happened in Nigeria, particularly when you migrate away from the elite class to the generality of those who are expected to benefit from pensions, is that they have gone through woes. And even the minister himself confirmed it. And then, you know, for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to come up now and say, okay, we are going to float a bond of about 758 billion naira to clear the liabilities. I mean, you saw the picture you showed us now before this discussion. You can imagine the looks on the faces of the retirees. Many of them have been protesting in Abuja. Even retired police officers, retired military officers, and like I mentioned earlier, not all of them, you know, and it is so sad because it has a lot of implications. But it's laudable that the president is coming out to say, oh, I will look in the direction of, you know, this class of citizens. But having said that also, you know, recently also he gave a directive that free medical attention should be extended to vulnerable retirees, and that the clamors of the retired police officer to be migrated to a better pension arrangement should be granted. But like you also insinuated, are we going to implement this? You know, I recall when the petroleum industry bill was finally passed into an act. Oh, many Nigerians rejoice. Oh, now we are going to enjoy the benefits of our oil and gas. But the big question today is that have Nigerians started benefiting from the act per se, or is it just benefiting a few? Again, recently we all read, or let me say majority read, about the decision of the Supreme Court that there should be direct allocation to the local government authority, which we call the local government autonomy. Have we implemented it? You know, several directives like that. And again, you know, while applauding the good intention of President Bola Tinubu, how do we sustain it? Because even from the report that we are discussing now, I think the DG of the National Pension Commission, Mrs. Omo Lola Oluwuran, expressed deep commitment to ensuring welfare of pensioners, and she also insinuated how some of them have died during verification. So the president must look more into the structure we have in the country that will sustain prosperity or support to this class of citizens. And I will underscore that by also bringing us to the angle of when the minimum wage was lifted to 70,000 naira per month. Many people were happy. But if you throw that into the inflation in the country and the cost of living, it's just about $34, for instance, how far can it go? So there are bigger issues to deal with. And like I mentioned earlier, now the nation is admitting that there has been serious injustice in our pension system. Who are those behind it?
All right,
because Section 15, Section 5 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999, as amended, says clearly that the state shall abolish corrupt practices and abuse of office. So who are those behind it? Because if you don't go after them and punish them, upon conviction, they will continue to frustrate all these efforts, and some of them will just say, actually, the president will be in office for 4 years. I told you about the local government autonomy. How has it been implemented till we speak now?
Exactly.
So those are my concerns.
Yes, exactly the question I have in mind for you, sir. What is the problem between directive and implementation? Is there something constitutional that we do not know as regular Nigerian citizens why such directives will be given, even court judgments are given, and it takes so long for implementation? Is it constitutional? What is going on? Nigerians need to know. Pensioners are people that are very old, They come with a lot of baggage. They are ill, they have one illness or the other, they are lonely, they are this, they are that. Getting their monies to them as quick as possible is major and very, very necessary. But from experience, from directive, even court judgments to implementation in Nigeria takes time. What is causing that gap, and can it be filled?
Okay, let me just simplify it by saying government ineptitude.
Whoa.
And the fact that we have not embraced good governance and we have not given the rule of law its right of place. You see, there are some countries of the world, if you want to know the 10 best countries of the world in terms of pensions management, it's led by Netherlands. Then you talk about Iceland, you talk about Denmark, you talk about Israel, you talk about Singapore. You talk about Australia, Finland, Norway, Chile, and on and on and on. Sweden is there, the UK is there, Switzerland. So because they care for their people, they care for the elderly. You see, this question you asked is very pertinent. And let me excite us this morning, and I mean just that, excite, by trying to recite part of Section 16 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended. We state clearly that the resources of the country should be harnessed to promote national prosperity and an efficient and dynamic self-reliant economy. You can imagine that. So if we have implemented the spirit of that constitution, we don't even have a business borrowing to the point that we are now owing about 200 trillion naira, as against 12.12 trillion naira as of February 2015. And it further says that the government should control the national economy in such a manner as to secure the maximum welfare, freedom, and happiness of every person on the basis of social justice and equality of status and opportunity. I mean, you can Google this after this program. It's there in the Constitution, you see. And let me quickly go to subsection 2 that says that the affordable and available shelter, affordable and available food, minimum living reasonable wage, care for the old, the disabled, and for all citizens. But interestingly, still talking about governance system, we say that this section of this part of the Constitution is not justiciable. You can also sue the government over them. But then, Section 4 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended states clearly also that the National Assembly is empowered to make laws for the peace, orderliness, and good government in Nigeria. So, and now we are discussing pensions. Are these people who are expected to make laws for good government in Nigeria, are they suffering from their pensions? And again, it's just the system we have, my brother. Recently, and I'm speaking in terms of moms now, the Minister of Poverty Reduction, because that name was changed from Poverty Alleviation or whatever, Better Edu, reportedly embezzled the money meant to take care of the vulnerable. What was her punishment? She was suspended and eventually replaced in office. Was she prosecuted for those allegations? You see, these are big questions. There are many. Now, the former GMD of NNPC is being queried. Yeah. That may go under the carpet. And we can go on and on. I've been asking, who are the oil thieves in Nigeria? Nigeria has no business with poverty. Who are they? Senator Oshiomhole was so much disturbed that he came out to say that the government knows them. They know those who steal our gold. And so when you look at this, you just come to a conclusion, like I mentioned earlier, that we are suffering from government ineptitude in Nigeria. Because if you trace all this, it's not just under President Tinubu is even coming out now with good intentions. But like you brilliantly mentioned, how will they be implemented? Let me tell us, just go out now to any of the agencies in government that you want to file an application, maybe to obtain consent to subsequent transaction on property, or you even want to get your NIN number, or to mention other things. Imagine that we are talking about what pensioners go through now. And in Nigeria, to get an international passport now is between 100,000 naira and 200,000 naira. And minimum wage is 70,000 naira. So how do you put all this together? So the president should be concerned about the macro economy, the bigger space.
Yes.
But yes, we're honored to have another personality join us in the studio. I'm talking about Mr. Oluwaseyi Adeyemo. He is the publisher Inside Watch Africa and a tourism consultant. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for having me.
Good morning. Good morning, guys.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yeah. So it's quite an interesting conversation we're having, and Barrister is also making us understand, exactly, Jide Logo is making us understand exactly what this problem is. But I'd like to start off with you, because if you look at Minister Uzoka Anite's recent file that no pensioner should beg for dues. And then this echoes the 1979's First Pension Act reforms that show a pattern of delays and ethical lapses in payment. So the problem there is that if you look at the 2014 Act, it prioritizes retirees' entitlement, reports of excluded parastatals, and slow rollout. Does this not speak to systemic problem rather than potentially leading to more protests, or rather than talking about, yes, we are going to pay back, right? But we are not looking at the systemic problem. Exactly how do you see this?
I agree with you that it's a systemic problem, because the truth is you can't have that part of the relay. I try to describe this as a relay. When you start work, you're handing over to people who are coming in, and then looking at how you finish the race, and it will sort of shape positively or negatively the way the work whilst they're in the relay, when they're still active at work. So the thought or the action of making those who had finished the race to beg or have issues with collection of their remuneration is something we need to deal with we have to deal with it immediately and systematically, because the truth is we cannot discourage people who are still in active service, by watching what happens to those who are outside. Incidentally, I'm a pensioner.
Do you get it as I went?
I was even going to go to that.
Truth of the matter is, it can be very, very uncomfortable for younger people like us who left, voluntarily and are still active and doing other things and all of that. When you go and see the way those who are old and are helpless are being treated, you definitely are not happy with it. I see it life. I mean, because we then have to go for I'm still alive and all sorts of screening processes. And the way the money comes in, it's better now, a lot better, because of course at a particular time that little comes in, as at when due. The only problem is before you start to collect it, sometimes it can be very, very, very uncomfortable. So I believe that I'm particularly happy that Mr. President has brought it to the front burner and is dealing with it at this time, because look, he's going to retire very soon. Because all of us will retire.
That's right.
So I think whatever we do to make sure that space or that part of the race is properly taken care of, it's good for all of us.
All right, and let's go to Mr. Jide. Mr. Jide, are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay, so we just had something that Mr. Demo said, and he said even the little he still gets. I want to speak about the little now. Our pensioners over a period of time, they have complained that what they get is so small. When we talk about their hospital bills, what they get cannot even pay for their hospital bills, provide them food, etc. And he has mentioned it again. I didn't say little, he said little. So I just want us to look into that. But we are also excited that the president has brought this to the forefront. Like I said earlier on, we want to see it happen. We don't just want to talk about it on the table. We want to see that this has now be put into place. But now let's speak about the amount that they get.
It's absolutely little.
Okay.
If you benchmark it with the state of the economy. And let me go back to that section 16 subsection 2D of the Nigeria Constitution 1999 as amended to expand that. It says that there should be suitable and adequate shelter, suitable and adequate food, reasonable national minimum living wage, old age care and pensions, and unemployment, sick benefits, and welfare of the disabled are provided for all citizens. All citizens.
All citizens.
Okay, now let's go to healthcare, which everyone must prepare for in old age. Recently, in my blessed country, Nigeria, a former Nigerian senator, Honorable Ibrahim Musa Kontagora, died because he was rushed to an hospital and was to perform for a critical surgery. And the bill was $30,000. But the family was able to just provide $15,000. And the hospital insisted that if you don't give us the whole money, we are not performing this surgery. The man died. That is someone in the high level. Recently, the former president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, died in a London hospital. And that is why I commend President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in this wonderful and laudable effort. But my advocacy is on the larger picture. How much, except you were a governor or a senator or a commissioner? In fact, I even doubt if commissioner receive any pension that can sustain the lifestyle we create in that office. Now, what are the confrontations for pensioners? You talk about high cost of living. You talk about healthcare. You talk about corruption. They are still within the same system. They still need to get things done. Some of them still have children who are in school. What's the school fees in this country now?
Well,
what about the trauma of ASU threatening strike and things? So these are serious issues. The money is meager. I don't want to bore us this morning by taking us through minimum wages across the world. You see, it will amaze you that if you benchmark it with the exchange rate in Nigeria, the minimum wage in America on the baseline is over 2 million naira per month. So that is why you see all these people japping. Now, we are discussing pension. Even those who are on duty, I read recently that about 239 first-class lecturers left Unilag, leaving just about 17. So, I mean, these are, and like I mentioned now, these pensioners must take their children must go to school. Like our wonderful guy in the studio there, who decided to retire early, you know, he's still shining at everything. But compare his handsome look with those retirees you have shown us earlier. I mean, we need to think. Let me say this, and it's sacrosanct.
Yes.
Please, for those who are milking Nigeria dry, stealing our money, if you die leaving 10 billion naira in any bank account, you are a fool. It means you don't need that money. You just kept it away from those who need.
That is upfront, close, and personal. Thank you very much.
I own that is personal, but it's just the way I feel. You see, God says replenish the earth, release. See, let me please just give me some few seconds. Go and study Norway. The wealth of Norway is used to nourish the citizens to the extent that those people are mesmerized by care. I've rolled out some, and the government, you see, the government doesn't need to send any delegates. So some of these countries I have mentioned, just on their phone, they should find out. You talk of Uruguay, you talk of Belgium, you talk of Mexico, you talk of Canada, Ireland.
In fact, the next question I'm going to ask Mr. Deyamo is how we can seamlessly get Nigerian pensioners to that level that Mr. Logo is talking about. Can we use technology? I mean, everybody is using technology now for one thing or the other.
Absolutely.
Can it be automated?
You know, the thing, I was really eager to jump in because I want to make these suggestions. When we were growing up, there used to be what they call luncheon voucher.
Oh, yes.
Now, you can actually have a pass for pensioners and make a lot of things that they will spend money on free. You can do that in the short term. Give them a card. You want a bus, you want to board this, you want to go to hospital, you want to have lunch. Those are little things that government can quickly take care of. Because you see, again, I don't like to sound like this in public, but when I look at the way the lecturers are coming, everybody's coming at government, I'm wondering, can they really cater for all of us at the same time? So I'm saying to myself, all right, maybe let's start looking at other options where we can start to take care of things. Yeah, we're going to work on raising the money, but the money probably cannot be raised immediately because you can't raise all the money immediately because right now I know that the lecturers are gearing up and they're saying we want our money now. Doctors are also gearing up and all of the people will be gearing up. So I'm saying for pensioners, one of the things you can quickly do to ease the problem is give them a, like we have a card, an ID card. So on it, start to make certain things almost free for them. And so those are things they would need because really they're not really going to be going all over the place. But if they know that their medical care is sorted, like you have it in advanced countries, I mean, you can get your drugs easily, you can get your supplies and all of those things. You would have taken a large chunk of what they would have used the money for in the first place, and you will have solved the problem medium or almost immediately.
And then the small money that finally gets to them has more value. Now, I'm looking at a situation where, because now it's over 700 billion that Mr. President says he wants to push into the system. Now, we know how it is. We know how it is. It might end up being like 400 or thereabout. Now, to forestall that, is there a way we can automate the payment of pensions? That it just happens. The system works.
No, I think we're there, and I'll shock you that this is likely to get to the end because you see the way automation has been done now. The moment you place it on that platform, it naturally would distribute itself because they already have our information, they have everybody on their database. So you're not likely to, I mean, maybe those ones that maybe delay or whatever, but truth of the matter is, the way things are right now, it is automated.
Okay.
I can tell you. It gets on the platform, money goes straight to where it ought to go to. And that's
I think that's the best way around
Oh,
it. Because
definitely.
normally, when it passes through people, that's when we see how the greed of people, but it doesn't now really get to the people it's supposed to get to. You know, you said something as well, you're speaking about the fact that their monies need to get to them. The president has said this. I'm hoping that it gets to happen. I believe the president. I know that him pushing this money, and now that we don't have people in the middle of it, it will get to them. But also, I want to speak about the fact that these pensioners, the amount of money that gets to them is the problem. And I feel like that is what we should concentrate on. I love the idea that you said about, you know, making cards for them. It's very, very intelligent so that they get lesser prices or even very less prices. They don't get to pay, you know, the right amount. And I feel like if the government does this, they will now have hope in the government again regarding pensions.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is buying in. The moment you see a sense of, I'm recognized in this system. Oh, I have recognition. Then you start to see a situation where they will even be the ones that are advocating for several things that, because you see, we forget, you call them pensioners. They're actually community leaders. You know, at the end of the day, these are
consultants too.
At the end of the day, you know, so if you treat them well, you have them on your side, you can then use them for a lot of things. You know, at the end of the day, to drive a lot of buying into a lot of things. So for me, I think it's a right way to go, and I'm happy that the president has taken the step. So we all are talking about it. I mean, playing our role as a fourth estate, and we're already contributing.
Very quickly, Barrister Logan, because of our time, we have about just a minute or thereabouts. Is there anything that you think the people can do, especially those that are captured under the contributory pension scheme, and as well as the PENC overall, because there are some private organizations that are also there that are not remitting as and when due? What exactly do you think that people can do, pressure group can also, you know, do to ensure that they enforce the government to respect the rule of law when it comes to, you know, the Pension Act? Very quickly.
Thank you very much. And let me commend President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You know, there was a report recently that PENCON recovered about 4.57 billion naira from defaulting employers between quarter one of 2024 and quarter one of 2025. And then, you know, including outstanding contributions and penalties. And that's what I said earlier. If you don't have consequences, you come up with these laudable ideas and they are not implemented. You read recently how a change in NTA was reversed by the president because some internal politicians went to give the president a wrong impression to rule out that change without carrying the minister along. That's what we are talking about. The impression should not be created that the president is not in touch with the directives he has given. If the order of a king must be carried out, you know, I mean, this is not the first attempt. We had the Pensions Reform Act 2014 that replaced that of the Act of 2004.
Barrister, I wish we had a lot of time. We're definitely going to have you on the show again to speak about this.
Punish those who want to frustrate.
Barrister, can you hear me? Barrister, our time is up, but thank you so much, Barrister Jide. I'm sure we'll definitely have you on the show again, you know, to speak about this. Maybe by then the pensioners will have gotten all their money and we get to celebrate on the show. And also, Mr. Adeyemo, thank you so much. I'm sure you'll join us on the show again. And I was going to tell you, for a pensioner, you look really good. Thank you so much. Now we're going to go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll let you know what's happening in FCT. Don't go anywhere. This is TVC Breakfast.